Guiding principles have a huge potential. They can be used by state governments to lay down standards or policy measures for private actors. They could be used in advocacy to really understand the scope of the right to education, and I think finally it can be used in litigation for enforcement of the right to education. And I think in all these ways the guiding principles have a huge scope.
The principles themselves are to be welcomed as a reflection of human rights law as it stands at the moment, 2019. However, at this point, the most exciting piece of work is yet to come. And that is the work that will begin after the adoption of the principles. And it will be the discussions and the actions and the activities and the strategies focused on taking these principles and turning them from principles on paper into practice.
They help us to appreciate not just only the conceptualization, but also the practical implementation of the provisions of the Convention on the Rights of the Child, particularly Article 28, in the instances where a state is to allow private system of education. What needs to be put in place to make sure that the rights of all children, not just only those that are part of the private education system, but also some of the potential negative effects of non-regulation or weak regulation would have on the public education system.
Il faut reconnaître que ces principes directeurs sont très utiles pour moi en tant que rapporteur spécial des Nations Unies, parce que ce sera un document qui me permettra au moins dans chaque pays où je vais aller, à la fois pour les visites, mais aussi au niveau international, de pouvoir les partager avec tous les acteurs. Ça peut être à l'Assemblée générale, on a déjà prévu de les présenter aussi au niveau du Conseil à Genève. Et pour moi, c'est important qu'on puisse adresser ce type de questions aux représentants des États.
These Abidjan principles have been already recognized by the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, by the Human Rights Council in June, just now, by the UN Special Rapporteur on the Right to Education that we heard this morning, and increasingly is being used by a number of institutions. The Abidjan principles are also starting to have an effect on the ground, and I really believe of the power of the right to education. When it is unpacked, when it is brought to concrete elements, can make a difference. We have examples of cases in Uganda where the Abidjan principles were used to rethink the public-private partnerships in education over there. In Nepal, where civil society is working with local actors to think about local education plans that are in line with the right to education, all the way to, at the global level, the major funding body for education, the Global Partnership for Education, which was inspired by the Abidjan principles to define its strategies. So this is one tool I wanted to share and which we hope can really help concretely and practically and positively get the best out of us and make sure we avoid the worst scenario for education.
The role of public education must be upheld, and in this respect I welcome the 2019 Abidjan Principles of the human rights obligation of states to provide public education and to regulate private involvement in education.
Ça a une valeur pédagogique, mais ça a aussi une valeur pratique, en ce sens que ça permet à l'État de voir quels sont les moyens pratiques qui lui permettent de mettre en œuvre les engagements qu'il a pris, tant au plan juridique qu'au plan politique. Et ça, de mon point de vue, c'est une approche nouvelle. Beaucoup d'États ont signé des engagements, mais ils ne savent pas comment les mettre en œuvre. Ici, nous leur proposons des pistes, nous leur proposons des moyens, et puis aussi on donne aux acteurs de la société civile des outils pour faire un bon plaidoyer autour de l'éducation.
À sélectionner pour le soutien, et il s'agit des principes d'Abidjan pour le droit à l'éducation par la Right to Education Initiative.